What's up, Clucci?
Yo, what's up?
How you doing? Same poop, different day. Man, the last time you were on, we got a bunch of people interested in our podcast.
Yeah, that's good.
Yes, it's awesome.
I like it. Yeah.
How was the response for you?
I don't know. I got a couple people that said they heard it, or like that I kind of saw commenting about it, but
you didn't see any extra hate or any extra love then? Because I'm happy with that.
Yeah, I don't think so.
I saw a lot of love on my for you as well on my end, but a small amount.
I had one person. I know I had 2 or 3 people tell me that I should do a podcast.
You should do
that. Was pretty much all I got. That's pretty much all I got out of
it. you at least have one future guest, if nothing else.
There you go. Exactly.
I can't have every viewpoint for these Ink Masters. So then, really, you got 200 guests. I'm sure they'll be on.
I don't know if I would want to interview Ink Master people, but
White already beat you to the punch, huh? Yes.
Yeah. Well, it's not something I'm interested in. That's just not.
You don't like us Ink Masters?
No, it's not that I don't like the people, right? Like some of them, some people. I'm having a tough day. I think I'm got this new studio, and I had like a homeless guy camping out of my old studio yesterday, or not, like 2 days ago.
Did you have to deal with, or
I had to move? Like I just decided to move already. I had gotten burglarized like just a couple of months before, and I was already struggling just with my anxiety in the area.
So what is it in brand like today is the day you open the doors on your new studio?
Yeah, I mean it's a little bit unplanned, but today's like what would have been like the 3rd session. I did one. It was completely unplanned. It was just like, oh, there's a homeless guy in front of our studio, and the customer was there, and I was like, well, I do have another place. It's not quite ready, but I could do the tattoo there. So I just gave him the address. I let the landlord deal with him
over there.
I put in my notice, and I went over here. So then yesterday, I'm like, okay, my client is coming out of town, but they texted me and said that there's going to be some sort of issue. And I didn't really want to talk about this during this thing, but it is.
Oh, you don't have to.
Impact on how I'm feeling right now.
Well,
right?
Okay.
So
yes.
I might explain things. So, and I think it's important as far as just like more important than talking about Ink Master. It's like, which I really do want to get to.
Yeah, no problem.
That's what your podcast is. But this is important for like just people that are interested in doing tattoos, and people that are, and even for tattoo artists and for clients to kind of understand this situation and
the anxiety levels.
Well, here's what happened. I'm freaking moving, right? Pull my son out of school for the day. He's kind of stoked, but it's raining. So we go first thing in the morning, get the truck. The plan is to be done at 2:30, ready to go. And got the truck, packed the stuff, got here. It's like 12 o'clock and we're halfway through unloading the truck, or almost halfway through unloading this truck. And the lady texts me, right? She goes, I'm there. We're here. Where do we go? And I'm like, you're here. You said 3 or 4 o'clock. And she was like, oh, no, I texted you a few weeks ago saying switch back the time and you hearted it. So you knew. And I'm like, oh, I don't remember that. Right? Like, I don't remember. I looked at the text this morning. I just looked at them quick, but I saw 3 or 4 o'clock. So that's what I was planning for. I'm so sorry about the inconvenience, but there's a bar, restaurant right here. They're open. They're warm. Yeah. There's nobody in there. They'll let you chill for 2.5 hours. Just you guys, that's the time. I'll be ready at 2:30. That's the time I have available. I'm so sorry about the confusion. And so I'm in the rain with my son in front of them because we parked right next to the bar, right? They could see through the window, I'm sure. We're unloading the whole truck. We bust our asses, bro. We get it done, right? We're just like, we got to get this done. Just thinking about the lady the whole time, thinking about my client, just trying to be thoughtful of them, trying to make sure I don't do stuff anymore than already is this miscommunication.
Can I guess what happens next?
You can guess, yes.
She decided, it's already off, and it's not working out. I've got a buzz on now, and her friend went and fucked the whole rest of the day off. That is correct. That is correct. But the first thing they did was they went on to Reddit. And they decided to read in 2016 when some other thing happened where my mom had tried to use my new
screen printing machine and she blew ink with a fucking pressure hose all over my tattoo studio, right? So I'm like with my client the next day and I'm fuming and my mom calls me and I like yell at her, right? Like just, what the hell, mom? I can't believe this happened. So he didn't get his tattoo done. And because it wasn't finished in that day, it was super complicated artwork. There's just no way it would have been done. And I guess I was in a weird mood, right? So I was like, bro, are you kidding me? Like, this is not going to get done today. We do have to schedule another appointment. He went and blew me up and he got a team of people. And it was just like a few other things happened at that same time.
A team of people to fuck with you, you mean? Or
it was like, it's like if things don't happen perfectly because you're a celebrity at a certain level and there's this ideal situation that's envisioned, if that doesn't happen, people tear you a new asshole. They tell you
they tend to.
No, listen, bro. So she fucking she called me or I called her, something was like, hey, here's what's going on. I got the studio open. There's a couch just ready to go. If you want to chill in there, that's totally cool. It's going to be another hour.
This is the group that was at the bar.
This is the two girls that had come from
and now it's in the rain. Right? So your plan was to be done at 3 or 4, but it's in the rain. It doesn't go quicker in the rain.
So we get it done quicker. We get done so then this is
you actually did get done quicker though.
We got done quicker, but it was this was probably like I don't know. It was an hour and a half before I was done. So it was 1 o'clock and I call her, she calls me or whatever. I'm like, you can wait in the studio or you can just chill in the restaurant. They're like, oh, well, let's check out. We'll meet you out front. So I wait for like 10 minutes in front of the thing. Finally, they call me back and they're like, we're just going to stay in the bar. I'm like, okay. And she's like, oh, I'm sorry. I'm like, no problem. I got to go take the truck back. I got to drop my kid off at his school. And then I've got to come back and I'll be ready to go. Right. Get the truck back, drop my kid off at school, turn around. And I go to call her to let her know, hey, just on my way back. And she's like, oh yeah, we decided we're already on our way back to the hotel. I'm like, what? And she's like, yeah, I'm like, you coming back? And she's like, no, we're canceling. And I'm like, what? Like, I'm literally on time doing the thing I said I was going to do.
Right.
I kicked ass. We just kicked ass. Like,
right. But she made an audible weeks ago and you hearted it. So now it's concrete.
Well, after she had told me 3 or 4 o'clock, then she just changed it back. So the only number that I could find was 3 or 4 o'clock. I don't know. I didn't see the new thing. So
did you see that you had hearted it or not?
I didn't even see that. No. I still haven't went back and looked because I had ended. It was just so negative. I ended up deleting the whole text.
So what'd she do on Reddit though? You said she went back to Reddit. She was reading old Reddit.
I'll get to it, right? Because it's like that's the end of the story. So so then I'm on my car. I go, fuck. I don't want something to happen again like this. I can't have somebody mad at me from out of town. This is horrible. So I text her and I said, hey, and I'm in panic. Like I said, autism thing kicks in. I just can't even great. I'm trying to just not that the world would not crumble. Right. So I fucking text her like, hey, I'm so sorry. Like I might have called her back. I think I called her. I was like, hey, I'm so sorry about this situation. This is not okay. This is not what I intended. Like what, how much did your flight cost? How much did your hotel cost? I'll pay that. Right. No problem. Right. Like I'll take care of it. I'll send it to you.
Well, it's a big problem, but it's also awesome of you to do.
Big problem. So, right. So she texted me and like I said, I'm still not thinking clearly. I'm still like just in this panic mode. And it's $550 for the plane flight, $450 for the hotel or something like that. $400 for the hotel, something like that.
1,000 even.
Right. It was $950 altogether. So it was like $400 for the hotel.
That's my
so then I sent the money, $950. And then of course I went in my bank account and I was like, oh fuck, that was actually all the money after getting this new studio. That was all the money that I had. I have like a couple $100 left. Fuck. So then I started really thinking about it and just like really looking at the situation going, fuck, this is not fair. That's not fair that happened right now. Like what? And then I go and I see the text that she sent me while I was still driving when I was turning around. Right. She sent it to me before I called. And it was like, you have disrespected our time. I can't believe that you're just so unprofessional. You have obviously no integrity, very low values as a human being, like this really intense text message.
It just like, goes off. It starts talking about you as a human now.
I'm the worst human being that she's ever met. In fact, she should have listened to the Reddit articles, right, that she had read, because that's obviously who I actually am.
Wow.
All this horrible. It was so fucking horrible, bro.
Well, like, for anybody listening, this is a good lesson, though. All the truth about anybody's humanity is stored on Reddit.
Tattoo artist moving his tattoo supplies in the rain before your fucking tattoo appointment, ask him what is going on and help him. Because he does not want to be in that situation. He does not want to be in that situation. He doesn't want to lose money that day. There's no reason that a tattoo artist, unless they're a drug addict or have some sort of problem, would want to lose money that day, especially somebody that's been doing it as long as me for 20 fucking years, every single day. Like, there's just no reason that I would want that to happen or do anything intentionally. So if I'm in that situation with my kid moving my fucking tattoo stuff into a new building, be compassionate.
Please.
That's it.
Yes.
Be a fucking human being.
Well, now, especially that she was meeting you at the time that was not texting. You know, I mean, like if she made it 4 hours earlier,
Dude,
4 hours earlier.
You tried to blame me. She goes, you tried to blame me for this problem. And I'm like, what? No, I literally just told you that's what I thought because that's the information you gave me.
Right.
Like,
do you think there's any way you could have walked out of it? Like if you had responded in any way different? I know that you couldn't. Couldn't control the actions. Like the day had to go at the time schedule. Mm-hmm.
Here's something I could have done. If I would have walked into the restaurant instead of just continued to move, I would have stopped and thought for a second and been like, let me at least give a little bit of customer service in this situation. I would have walked in the restaurant and I would have said, hey guys, I'm so sorry. I got my kid, just explain the situation.
No.
To them,
did you meet their eyes at all? Did you like make eye contact at any point? Really?
At all. I didn't even see that.
Yeah.
So if I would have got out of my autism for a second, you know what I'm saying? Just like
I do. That's why, and that's kind of where I wanted to. The only that I was bothered by. Maybe we got hate somewhere else. I was slightly bothered, and I'm not mad at people about but sometimes we're so quick to make judgments about, and it's not just a judgment, it's like a final one. Like I've decided that you are this, you will never be anything better. You cannot even appeal to be anything better. You now belong in hell.
Even if I found out that I'm wrong, I've already judged you. So I'm not going, I have too much pride or whatever.
Right. We can't back.
Can't back out of it.
Well, that's so some people, the last time when you were on about a month ago, hey, happy 420, by the way.
Hey, and my song's out today.
Yes. And you're dropping a song. Perfect timing to have this kind of a hectic schedule going on.
Dude, I was supposed to be so stoked today, doing tons of posts. And it's not even that.
You were supposed to be stressed today.
My client's like sticking me in a very narrow window today with a prepaid session.
Oh, you got another one today?
Today, no, he's a great client. I'm finishing his back piece today. I've done the whole thing, but he's not being bad. He's just, I texted him, was like, hey, this is where I'm at now. And he's like, oh shit, that cuts another half hour out of my day because I have something going on tonight. So it's like more stress. Everything's minute to minute,
Welcome to life, huh?
But yeah, I ran at the Quincy headquarters. This isn't just a tattoo studio. This is a fucking music floor, bro. Like
this is what you were talking about when we were talking last, that you were
I got the actual music studio right next to my tattoo studio. So I'll be able to get up and just walk right into the office next door and just start making music as I'm done tattooing. And then next door is the studio. Like it's the full recording studio. Awesome. That's like my homie zone. So it's just so fucking sick, bro.
Is this exponentially more expensive than your last place too, then? Because it's two venue or two,
I don't necessarily think that's public information, but no.
Okay. It's not. Good. Good job.
No, it's great. It's great. It actually opened up enough finances to hire a full-time media guy to do content, to create content, which I have a full office for him too. It's fucking, we're going, bro. I'm not even fucking around. I've got another song coming out in 2 weeks. And then after that, it's going to be a song out every week until my vocal cords fucking fall out of my asshole or whatever.
Is that where you keep them now?
I mean, they would have to be like quite a journey, but
like Lemmy Winks or something.
Exactly. Yes.
Well, brother, the only hate I got from you was for your self-diagnoses of autism. So I wanted to go over that a little bit with you because I'm betting at this point, it's not so much just a self-diagnosis. Didn't you say you're working with a therapist?
Yeah, I just did 7 months of like really intense. It was like a one-on-one therapy. And
did your therapist ever bring it up? Like, hey, you're not autistic.
We talked about it a lot. So they weren't there to diagnose me, but it wasn't that, like, I don't really for somebody that's in my situation, right? It's like,
Mhm.
why would I want to be autistic?
I get that. That was my biggest argument. And also, to some extent, I know it doesn't translate everywhere, but if I take on the stigma of a problem, right? Like I embrace that, like, okay, this is my stigma, it's not a happy one.
Right.
Then do I not have, okay, so maybe you think that I'm not this, like I don't deserve the stigma or whatever.
Right.
But wait a second, nobody wants a stigma, right?
Well,
Like
that's
it's not
another thing. Yeah,
something that you ran to.
and
What's
then
the
here's another
benefit?
thing. If I were to go over all of the specifics about being autistic, do you think you would relate to even one of those things?
Well, I love wearing headphones. When
Right,
you
but
said
for
that
what
last
reason?
time, I suddenly was like, holy shit, dude. Because I got headphones on right now. I'll get
Right.
done and I'll start walking around the house with them on. And I
Right.
fucking love it. I'll have to realize, and then I take them off. My ears feel cold, and suddenly I'm accosted by the real world. My little safe space is a bit.
Right.
No. But other than that, there are
thing
several
that's really
things that I
blowing
do
off-
not like. I have no problem meeting people with you. Like, I understand there's weight to somebody's eye gaze, but I don't really have a problem looking at somebody's eyes. You know what I mean? And I feel like my first impulse in your situation might be different. In your situation from today, I'm sorry to keep cutting her off, but I feel like if I dealt with that situation where you're in the rain, I think I would have went to the bar and like greeted them for a second, shook hands, made eye contact, and I bet that, just like you said, I bet that would have been a different situation. Bought them their first drink or something, right? And you don't, which to me says that's definitely a possibility of autism. Also, I don't give a fuck. Like if somebody tells me they're a leper, I don't need to sit there and be like, you're not a leper. Let me scrape your skin and eat it. Like, I don't know how leprosy is passed, but
here's the point of saying it, right? And for me to even identify it, it's to make it so that it's easier for me to get through the world, right? If I can say to somebody, hey, I'm gonna have reactions that might be strange to you. I'm going to say things that might be strange to you, but it's because I have some autistic stuff going on. Like, then when it happens, they're not fucking putting me up with everybody else going, hey, motherfucker, why are you acting like that? They're having patience and understanding because I actually am a compassionate, loving person that's coming from a genuine place. I have no desire for conflict. I have no desire for people to think I'm bad or mean. In fact, I have a strong desire, because this has been my life, constantly
to be the
about
opposite.
what it is that I'm doing that affects how other people think about me, and what did I say?
Okay.
What's the look on my face, or what's the tone of my voice that might make people think something that isn't actually what I intended. It's very difficult to navigate. So to let people know, like, hey, I might end up being weird. And just please understand that's not intended to offend you or to like make you uncomfortable. That's just sometimes how I act because of how my brain works.
Is that at all part of your
autism? But if you do, people say, "I understand. My child is autistic," and they go, and then they deal with me with compassion and treat me with love and understanding, and then my experience goes well.
What has this been then part of your? Well, when you begin talking with the customer, do you then start almost there? You're check it out.
I don't mention it to my customers really. Usually, I don't think, unless there's something I do that's weird. Right. And then it's like, oh, that's sorry. Like, then I'll let them know, like, sorry, that's just like autism. I'm not like fucking trying to overtake the conversation, or I'm not trying, like, I didn't mean to not text you or call you. I just couldn't fucking get through the moment or whatever.
If you were a terrible person, okay, not that you are, if you were, what benefit would you get? Could you see a benefit to claiming you were autistic when you
right? If there was some sort of motive to do that for some malicious reason, what could that possibly be?
Oh, I'm asking. I've been trying to rack my brain for a month because
there's no reason.
People,
there's no reason. It's like saying, hey, that's like in the 1990s saying, hey, I'm gay. Well, what
Yeah.
reason did you want to have the fucking literally the whole
when you
society-
weren't gay.
when
I
you
did
weren't
that
gay?
in the 90s though, because I'm a weirdo, I guess. But I didn't say, hey, I was gay, but it was easier to get girls to accept you and be nice. You're like, I had a lot of gay friends, I guess.
Yeah.
And I felt like if they like all of these girls that I would know or like, they always seemed to like my gay friends first. Right. I was like, what? So maybe if I kissed a guy, is that what's going to get him? But no.
Well, people don't usually like the autistic people because they're just weird. They're that weird group that has been labeled in society as like, what's wrong with them? They can understand each other, but most people just dismiss them. And I just have sort of other shit going on too, where I just also have this intense passion and desire to make something of myself. You know what I'm saying? So
yeah,
it's like
team that together, and you might be a hard guy to get along with in the room.
Yeah, exactly. I might be the hardest guy to get along with in the room. And in a situation like Ink Master, I am the hardest guy to get along with in the room.
Certainly in a room of 16 of us competing for the same title.
Where everybody else has decided to like do it with peace and love. And
you know, I learned from you quite a bit, actually. I learned that I really sucked at manipulating is the wrong word, but at helping my client pick a better tattoo.
There you go. It's the perfect word on Ink Master when you're trying to make somebody look a certain way. You know what I'm saying?
When you use manipulate.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. If I put it on you when the cameras were on, I wasn't going to say it so nicely. Cameras were on. I'm like, you just manipulated that girl into getting that tattoo not in her underarm, which actually you weren't able to get it out of her underarm.
There was no way I was going to do that. So when you know that's well, and that's the thing though, is it's like you aren't manipulating anything if you're actually doing the right thing, right? Like, so if your intent is positive and it also benefits you, like every time I moved a tattoo, it was because that was what was best for the situation.
And for the client, right?
And for the client, like if they want that tattoo finished and good, and I have the limit that's the time, well, guess what? You can only choose really one controlling factor when it comes to a tattoo session. That's how I describe it to people, right? You can't say, well, I want a whole back piece and I want it in 6 hours. And you know what I'm saying? Like, and I want it to be this certain subject matter and I want it to be like geometrical black work, but also I want it to be realism in color. Like you can't do that. You have to choose one thing and then that control, okay, 6 hours. Sweet. Well, what does that now control? It controls the size.
Yeah.
It controls the amount of detail. It controls really whether I'm doing it in black and gray or color, because I can do black and gray way fucking faster, 3 times as fast.
Right. Because the other stuff you have to do technically proper still. Like if you rushed through the color and it's not saturated, they're going to be mad about that. Even though you met their timeline. Like I got it done in 4 hours. What are you mad about?
It's not even about that. It's that you're not even producing quality work at that point.
Right. Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, how are you supposed to do exactly what they tell you to do, the design wise, and do it in the specific amount of time you have, and keep the quality? Any of the things that are required for you to create quality work, and do it the size they want and in the place you want. Motherfucker, you're going to lose some of those things because you've already chosen one thing. So now it chooses how big it can be, right?
So another thing I learned from you on the show, besides helping your client and actually the importance of that, like I don't know if I ever dealt with it so much before, where we had canvases, because they weren't coming to us because of us. They were coming to us because of the imagination of what they might get. Like they might get the best Ink Master, but yet they know there's bad art that has come out of the show as well. So now they're in a precarious situation, if you follow me, where they're like, how do I get what I want, get quality, and still trick this guy into thinking he can win with my stupid tattoo idea?
Well, and here's the thing, is that they're not actually any different than any other client. Really?
Right.
They're just wanting to
except
get
for the time constraints, but yeah.
Other than the time constraint. But people do have budget constraints, and that's also a time constraint.
Your customers generally come to you because they've seen your work.
I mean, that used to be how it was before Ink Master.
Oh, now they just call up and they haven't even looked at your work.
Now they just saw me on Ink Master, which
Well,
isn't
they
my
saw
work.
your work there too.
No, they didn't see my work there, bro.
You did a lot of your kind of like one that always stands out to me was the Bane. That's your style, right? And that really beautiful flower you did with like the bee in it or butterfly or something.
Those were the closest things, but my work is fucking huge usually. That's why you don't see it, because it takes years to do.
Right on.
So they didn't get to see anything that I do. You know, I'm not going to do a flower or even really that portrait in my day-to-day situation. You know what I'm saying? So that's what it turned into, though, is people showing up going, I want a flower. It's like, well, I do body shit full for 15 years now. You know what I'm saying? I do this whole big thing. Like, that's not what I'm doing. But
so how do you
what I'll do? I just do it right now.
A client comes in and they're feeling like that. I've seen you on TV. I love that flower you did. I love that Bane. I would like a tattoo. So where do you start so that you can get them to see bigger?
I explained that I have two different ways of tattooing, right? One is where I listen to what their idea is and I do the best that I can with exactly what they tell me to do, right? The other way is where I design 3 paintings and they choose one. And those are the 2 options that they have. And if they're going to get a painting, it's going to be in my style. It's going to be something that they don't get to choose. They don't get to manipulate it. They don't get to change the butterfly into a lizard. You know what I'm saying? It's going to be my painting that they're getting because they want to collect my artwork. But other than that, I'll do the thing that they want, but I don't take very many of those people, right? Like the thing that they want isn't usually the thing that I want to do.
Right.
So I'll take some of them because some of them are really cool. But usually it's not.
Some of them are really cool as far as people, or some of them are really cool as designs.
Everybody comes off really cool as people.
This lady, today, she didn't.
And not today, not when she showed up, but I don't know. She didn't come off at all. The only thing that came off negative was the fact that she left in her one text message. I didn't actually see her. You know what I'm saying? But when I did meet with her, she was fine. She seemed great. She was excited. She was ready to do it. I was excited. It was a portrait of her daughter. I know she really wanted it. And I'm not mad at her for being upset. I have understanding and compassion. I just wish she would have had that for me too. You know what I'm saying?
Right. I feel as though this, and not that it's I'm not trying to put blame at your feet, but I am thinking that if you have autism, and I believe that you do, I've met you, we've lived together. And I'm not saying it's like this debilitating. Until you said it, it didn't make sense. But when you said it, I'm like,
sense. Like, what's this guy? Yeah. What's his problem? Yeah.
But at that point, I'm like, oh, yeah, that makes sense. And it gives me compassion for you.
It's like trying to understand Kanye without understanding mental health. You can't.
Good analogy.
And it's true.
Good analogy.
Compassion for him. He's just elevated, so people don't think that he's allowed to be different.
Elevated, higher status of wealth
society.
And
he's a huge celebrity, and I feel like that's what is currently kind of afflicting me and making it so this tattoo thing isn't the best situation for me.
Is what your celebrity?
The celebrity, yeah.
Or the lack of understanding that people have, because now if you reach celebrity, then you can't have problems.
Unless I make that, you know what I'm saying? Unless I'm open about it the whole time. That's what I do
know. Because I've often, I didn't win, and I didn't win any money from this show, but yet people will see me, and simply me being alive and doing the things that I love, they will be like, man, I'm so glad to see you're doing so good now. You don't have to worry about the foreclosure anymore. Like, all your money problems are taken care of. And it's like, actually, that's still very relevant in my day to day,
Right.
Like, yeah. I don't know. I do it myself. Like, if I think on the Kardashians, or if I think on Kanye, and I didn't read his latest crazy post or whatever that like shows a person that needs help with mental health, then I think the same. Like, oh, Kanye's got it. It's all golden rainbows for him, Meanwhile, you can see
it's because everything that you don't have that you want, you think is what solves all of the things that you struggle with. Like, you think that money and fame and luxury and fashion, not you necessarily, but people in general, think that somehow eliminates suffering. And
It
it
does
does
not.
in some ways, but
It
it
can
doesn't,
help.
it doesn't eliminate the human part of suffering, right? The internal part. It
Mhm.
doesn't take that away.
What
That
do you
still
know about I think sometimes it could make it worse.
it
You
does make
follow
it
me?
work because
Like
the
it puts a
hater can,
magnifying glass, right? Like
right?
in
It's
my
a
current
magnifying glass and it
Mhm.
isolates you.
Yeah. I'm in my current economical situation. I'm wherever I'm at, but it ain't so bad. Nobody expects so much more of me. But once you get up to that higher level, right, then
Right.
people expect you now to continue with great successes. And if you have a stutter step, then they're ready just to write you off. Like, okay, not even relevant
But
anymore.
here's what Kanye understands about that. That is the perfect synchronicity of, or like the perfect match of two, right? The fan has that
Mhm.
that thinking, but Kanye knows that that's actually not true. That's kind of what it feels like. But the truth is that when you have a stutter, people give you more money, if that makes any sense, in the long run, right?
More leeway then as well.
You're going to get maybe, but you're going to get more fans. People are going to pay attention to you more, because with every hater,
Mhm.
that there's 100 supporters behind them that are quiet, right? But there's a couple of haters that are loud. But so every time you get a couple more haters, you just gained 100 new fans.
Is that why success is usually has a long string of haters behind it?
Yeah, I mean, I would say that's haters are the loudest, so that's what hurts.
Right. I follow you. But the
the
success is based off all the people that were supporting you, but they're just quiet. They don't need to yell about it.
But they're quiet. Yeah, they might not even be following you on Instagram. That's the real thing. A lot of haters are following me on Instagram.
Yeah.
There's a whole lot of other people. There's like 22 million people that subscribe to Netflix. That's on top of already the people that have viewed. And I would say there's not too many people that haven't seen Ink Master at this point that have Netflix. Not too many that I know of. I haven't seen all the episodes of Ink Master, which means I got 85,000 followers on Instagram, but that's not an indicator to what I have
support
available.
You really have.
The support that's truly there once I actually put something out that can reach the audience, which isn't tattooing.
Yeah, Clucci.
Yes.
Or this podcast or your podcast.
With the music, bro.
Yeah.
The music. I'm writing every day.
I get it.
I wish that I could easily show what's happening right now in my life with the music. I've got a feature with this guy named Marty Baller that's part of the Aesop crew that just kind of happened. He's coming out to do a video. It's a big deal. Like, it's big.
That's kind of a big, I've heard of Aesop, right?
Deal. Yeah.
Aesop's Fables, first off, I've heard of as we were kids and we watched Rocky and Bullwinkle. But also,
go ahead.
Aesop is some kind of rap I don't know,
like a group.
Publication group.
It's like a group, right? And there's a couple of guys like Aesop Ferg is one that's pretty popular, and he was his like hype guy, and now is his own artist. You know what I'm saying? He's doing it. He's putting out a bunch of albums.
And he's working with you.
Yeah, I mean, I got a feature with him, which means that I have a song that he's on.
Yeah,
if that makes any sense. So I'm putting out a song.
No, it does.
Fucking sick, bro. And he's coming.
I find a lot of similarities there with podcasting.
Yeah.
In that it or I imagine I'm not that far into it, right? But it's been growing really well. Mm-hmm. And my first thought might be something like you say, hey, I'm thinking about having a podcast too. I'd be like, don't have me on it. I don't want anything. I don't want to help you. I got my own. I'm trying to do this and you go, but in reality, if we watch the rap world as well, when a rapper is featured on another rapper's album, it doesn't hurt. So Snoop Dogg came down and he did, a lot of people don't know it. He did a song with ICP, Insane Clown Posse. And so when he does that though, did you be like, oh no, fucking, he sucks? No, that didn't happen. Everybody still loves Snoop Dogg. However, a bunch of ICP fans who might not, they're kind of obscure. Mm-hmm. They might like Snoop Dogg, but after he was on the ICP album, of course, now they love him. Right. Yeah. So it actually gathers together, coalesces, and kind of groups. And so what I'm finding is, fuck yeah, have me on your podcast. That's what I'm finding.
I mean, it's one of the biggest ways to success is having open arms. When you meet an artist that wants to come up, you put them on stage with you. And then when they come up, they're going to do the same thing. It's just how it works. You have to do it. You have to just constantly be, you know, if you're coming up, you have to be constantly pulling people up with you, because those people are going to come up, you know, anyways. And
there you go.
So it's good humanity. You know what I'm saying? That's going to be your life. That's what's going to happen for the rest of your life.
Yeah.
So.
Some people will imagine that if they don't pay any attention to somebody, that they will somehow stop, and they're not gonna. They still have that passion, fire, and drive. You might be sitting next to them now, and you're their equal, and you never even helped them. You know, you're on the same status level now, but you didn't help them, and so now you kind of just fuck that guy. That guy doesn't like you either, you know, or that guy ain't gonna try and help you.
No.
At any rate, I wanted to address the autism thing because I wanted more verification myself, I guess, to see if you had conjecture from your therapist. Did they say
I should probably go to get a diagnosis?
Well, what's it going to change? I mean, yes and no.
I mean, it's just I manage everything in my life, and I have autism, so it's like fucking that's a hard thing to do. You know, everything that I've accomplished at this point, I'm really happy about it. I just hired a personal trainer. I've got a personal finance person. Like, these are huge.
You just hired a personal trainer?
Yep.
You gonna get all buff and stuff?
It's actually Travis Barker's personal trainer. He used to be Travis Barker's personal trainer, but it's more about
not a good. I mean, come on, bro. I watched Travis Barker. He was in the commercial where he got buff, but Travis Barker, I just seen him on Kardashians, right? He's like, I mean, he's not a big guy.
I'm not trying to turn into a big guy.
Okay.
I'm just trying to get fit so I can get my mind right and become a, you know what I'm saying? I'm not trying to become a big guy. I'm just trying to lose a little bit of weight, get rid of the dad bod a little bit, get ready to get on stage. That's going to take some effort. You know what I'm saying?
Don't you get baggy clothes in the rap world still?
Say that again?
Don't you get to wear baggy clothes in the rap world still?
Right. But you still have to like perform on stage.
Oh, okay.
And I don't want to just do a walk around performance. I want to do a whole deal.
You don't want to do the grab me a stool, the big pun performance.
Yeah, I might grab a stool for a second, but the rest of it needs to be, you know, like, so it's like not only that, but it's just like everything I'm trying to accomplish every single day takes an incredible amount of physical effort. It's not just doing a tattoo session. It's doing a tattoo session and a recording session every day. You know, it's intense. And on top of marketing, you know, so it's like these things are difficult for me, but I'm learning. Like, that was part of my therapy, was learning skills on how to cope with things that I do struggle with. And being able to like just do things that might have taken me, you know, way more effort or way harder. Now I'm able to just like schedule it and make, you know, I found that I can't really do anything unless I have a person there. And that's why the personal trainer is going to really help. But if I don't have a meeting set, I'm not doing it. Right. I'm not going to do it on my own, probably. Unless it's in my house, you know, like having the recording studio right next to me is almost necessary for me to be able to do this.
I understand that. I've never been able to really go to a gym. I've always worked out pretty much my whole life, but going to a gym it takes so much out of your day. You got 15 minutes to drive there. You know, you got to shower there unless you want to get stinky into your car. So you got another 15 minutes there. So 15 minutes back, you're in 45 minutes into a workout and you haven't even done any working out.
Now these guys came right to my house. I did it in my living room, bro.
The personal training?
Yeah.
Right on. Yeah. I like that. I like that a lot. For, you know, body weight can do a lot. If you're like push-ups ain't enough for me, try them with one arm. Like body weight squats ain't enough for me. Try them with one leg.
The elbow to hand, kind of working your way up and down. That shit's really, I don't know. But for somebody like me, everything's going to be really, I haven't done any workout stuff for a very long time. The military.
When was the last time you were, okay. I was wondering.
I got pretty active like when I was married. After that, a few years later, and then I've done little stints of trying. But I always just stay pretty skinny, and I'm so tall, so I've never really had, you know, like a real reason to be like, oh man, now I do. It's because I have like high blood pressure stuff to deal with. So that's why. That's the most.
Do you smoke cigarettes?
I don't. I quit.
Good on you. Oh, good for you. I was going to say if you had high blood pressure, though, I wondered if it went together.
No, it maybe because of my past, but I think it's hereditary.
What, smoking?
No, the high blood pressure.
Oh, okay. I follow.
Yeah.
One other thing.
I want to tell you really quick with the trainer to get that over with. he did like a test to test how old my body is. Because I guess you can have a body that's like older than your actual age or a little bit younger than actual age. And he said most people are about 7 years older than their actual age.
Okay. Where were you?
15 years younger. I was.
So you don't even need them. That's crazy.
Well, I need to be fit, but.
Well, no, if I'm a personal trainer, I'm going to lie to you about that.
Maybe, I guess. I mean, he showed me the thing, and he showed me where everybody else kind of is. And why would you lie to somebody if their body's older? Why would they lie? That's going to be the wrong information that they, you know what I'm saying? They need to know what they're actually dealing with so they can do the right physical training stuff to get them in the right situation. But to lie to that person doesn't make any sense. It's not a sales pitch.
Well, at the point that he says, hey, you're 15 years younger than you actually are, you're like, oh, fuck, I guess you don't need paycheck. I'm doing good. I'll call you in 15 years.
That's the worst thing to say to somebody. Yeah, exactly.
Well, we'll see you. We'll see you 15 years, right? I mean, why do I need to be younger?
He knew what my goals were and shit. And it's not about my age, but it was nice to hear that, like, I do feel like I look quite a bit younger than I am. I do feel quite a bit younger, but that actually has some sort of physical, like some sort of real thing in the world. It's not just how I feel. It's real.
There's a real metric for you.
Yeah, I actually did something really positive for myself by stopping drinking at 23. You know what I'm saying? Like 20 years of not drinking kept me I haven't aged really. You know, like that's fucking awesome.
Without the preservative, and you still haven't aged, huh?
Pretty good. Yeah.
Not bad. Let me tell you something else I learned from Yannick, Master, if you would.
Okay.
When we were there, I mean, we already knew that, well, you became a target quick.
Do you want to hear how that happened, though? Do you want to hear how the target happened really quick? Okay, so I'm sitting in the fucking meeting. I'm kumbaya with everybody else. But then I don't remember what her name was, Andrea, or not Andrea, somebody else, one of the fucking producers. And I'm on the deck, I'm walking upstairs, and she starts just bitching. She just starts going, this fucking is going to be the worst fucking show. This is the worst crew. You guys are all fucking kumbaya. There's going to be no conflict. Hopefully your guys' tattoos are good enough for people to fucking watch the show, because nobody's going to watch this. This is going to be the last season of Make Master. She says that walking up behind me to me, really. Right. And I'm like,
but she's kind of just addressing, she's not really trying to talk to you. She wants you to hear it.
She's putting thoughts in my mind. She's putting thoughts in my mind. Right. So
producer style. Real manipulative.
Real manipulative. So
now I'm sorry. Did you hear that? I was just thinking to myself out loud about how much you suck.
Exactly. So then I'm fucking I'm driven. I'm the most driven person I know. Right. I'm driven. And I'm not saying more driven than anybody else there. I don't want to compare myself because I don't know each person like in their own parts, but I was as driven as I could be to make the best of the situation for my fucking future, for my kids, for my
So you hear that and it's like a challenge almost for you, huh? You're like, we're going to make this interesting.
It's like a crisis, bro. It's a crisis. It's not a challenge. It's a crisis. Now we're
right up. More important.
The reason that you're here is now already failing because of the way that everybody else is acting. Right. So then I'm sitting at the couch in that scene, right? With fucking, I don't know if you were in it. I don't remember. I know that Danger was in it because he was the one I was talking to. And I've got the same producer is crouching behind the couch behind me. Right? Okay. And I'm just in the conversation and she goes, are you here to win? Are you here to learn? Or are you here to be Ink Master? And I'm like, oh shit. My brain goes, they're putting you on TV right now and they're giving you an opportunity to fix this problem, this crisis. They're giving you the tools to fix the crisis. Right.
And so even dropping the line, because that was pretty close to what you said.
That's exactly what I said.
Well, you said it to Mystical though, right?
No, I said it's Danger because he was like, oh, I don't really do biomechanical, but I tried to do it here. And she gave me the line. Are you here to fucking learn? Are you here to be Ink Master? And then everybody, he goes, what? You know, like super confused. What the fuck?
Did he her say that?
Huh? No.
Did he hear her say that?
Whispered that shit, bro. No, nobody saw her. Nobody knew she was there except for me.
And she was behind the couch.
Behind the couch, whispering in my ear, bro.
Like Cyrano de Bergerac shit.
Yep. So then I realized that it was working, right? And I fucking went for it all the way. And they didn't talk to me again. They didn't talk to me again after that, bro. They didn't say another word to me. Yeah, they didn't talk to me one more time after that. They started talking to everybody else. Right. Then they wouldn't talk
like now we got to steer this up.
Bro. They fucking straight ghosted me. I would go to them and be like, why did you spend all this time talking to me at first? And now that everybody fucking hates me, all you do is talk to them. Why won't you talk to me now? What's going on here? I'm so confused. Like, what
did you gather from that? What did you figure was their intent?
That they were going around to each person and manipulating them to hate me. They were telling them what to think about me so that they could have a fucking show. They were creating their story.
Well, one is soon the person who was going to do their will and make that was going to be cast aside, or or they were going to have a target on their back,
singled out,
singled out. Yes,
on purposely.
For sure.
Yeah. So that pissed me off. Right. So now I'm in this.
Right. It was almost like they screwed you. Like they kind of knew where it was leading, and they set these little traps up of entrapment for you. And then when you find yourself right where they wanted you to be and doing the things that they wanted, now they're like, all right, good luck with that. You're in the middle of the ocean by yourself.
Exactly. You've got this. Good luck.
I know that it was nice. It was comfortable with you in the house because you kind of knew if there was a tattoo going across some guy's butt, Josh was getting it. You know what I mean? And if there was an armpit tattoo, Josh was getting it. You had already set yourself up as that. And then it was just kind of, just go with the flow for everybody there.
But you were all fucked up. You were all fucked up. You had it wrong. You all had it wrong. Everybody had it wrong except me.
Yes, and right. I mean, you had it wrong as much to be on their side as you find, because you're not on their side, but to do their work, because then you find yourself in the middle of the ocean by yourself.
But however, that's where you want to be, bro. That's the thing. Because they called me right after the show had they just finished editing, and the editor, I don't remember their name, but I remember they were there. They were there filming. They called me and they said, "Hey, Josh, we just wanted to let you know that what you went through wasn't for nothing." I'm like, "What are you talking about?" She goes, "Well, the winner of Ink Master usually gets, this is the most aired person, because we go back and edit them as the most person because they won. Right. They get fucking 12 minutes of airtime. Right. And then they go, you get 45 minutes of airtime. I'm like, what the fuck are you talking about? She goes, every time one of those people gave you the armpit or the ribs, they made the episode about you.
About you. Yeah.
So as they were thinking they were saving themselves from this being they're your insecurity. Oh, I'm going to look like an idiot. Oh, I'm going to this or that. They were giving me their fucking opportunity.
Yes.
They're just giving it to me, just giving it to me every single fucking day. And so I learned from that. And on season 2, I went back and everybody was acting a fool because they thought that's what had gotten the arguments, was what had gotten the TV times. They were fucking starting all these stupid fights and being crazy. And I'm like, bros, you guys go ahead and do that. Just give me the worst canvas every time.
Okay.
And they fucking, that's why they wouldn't let me back, bro, on Ink Master, honestly, is because
wait, you were back. Oh, you mean after the marijuana or something, or what?
No, after they figured out what the fuck I was doing to control the fucking story.
But who wouldn't let you on? Andrea
or on another season of Ink Master? No, I did the little shit. I did the little whatever redemption thing, the little episode or whatever. But that was just so they closed the story on me. You know what I'm saying? Give him some. He's got a little win here and close the story. But it was because I was actually manipulating the show by telling each person, "Hey, you're gonna get your airtime with all this drama." And you can ask anybody on season fucking 5. This is the conversation we had with each one of them. And not even that. They would ask me, well, can you just show me some of what you do? I would sit down with people and fucking spend hours teaching them tattoo skills. Like probably, I don't want to name names, but they know who they are. You know what I'm saying? That then went and got great praise for their tattoos. And they actually said that in front of the judges, I just wanted to thank Josh because he fucking sat me down and taught me more in 10 minutes than I learned in 10 years.
And how much of that made it into the show? I was wondering.
They didn't air any of it.
All right.
And even when I was funny. Even when they wouldn't announce, they didn't announce a winner one time. I had clearly won. They didn't announce a winner. And I go, hey, to the producer, I go, what the fuck? Why didn't they announce a winner? I clearly won. And they're like, oh, don't worry, Josh, you look like a fucking rock star today. Like literally had 2 or 3 people up, like thanking you in front of the judges for teaching them. Don't worry. And I'm like, you're not going to air that. I know you're not going to air that.
Right. Yeah.
So
why?
you.
So it's not
Don't take away my
all
win
that's
and then
still
don't air
live.
that and tell me that's why I'm special. Like, no, it was crazy. But yeah, I learned. That was what that was about. Like when people started giving me all the shitty canvases, it definitely was, like
helpful,
me
almost.
facing something difficult, kind of. But because that's how the world works, right? When you have to go through something that's hard, and everybody else around you goes, well, it's just more comfortable to keep making it hard for this guy. It makes it easier for me. So we're all going to do it. Guess what? That guy wins. Everybody else loses. That's how it works.
That makes sense. Because really, I've got a lot from Nunez. If the very next time, it wasn't the contestants that were doing that to me or giving me that opportunity, but Nunez did.
Right.
And he would even
in the moment
set it up.
You were going, it's like the thing you're going, fuck, why does this have to happen to me?
Yes.
Why? This isn't fair.
Yes.
I should have an easy time. I should just be winning and doing tattoos and everything great. Why is it what I'm visualized happening right now? And you get upset, but then you have to look at it later and go, well, that's what I'm supposed to go through in order to gain anything in my life. That's how it works. You got to climb over the rock if you want to get to the fucking grass, bro.
It's not going to be easy.
It's not going to be easy. Well, I mean, it's going to get easier the harder you push towards your goal and are consistent, right? I see it as it's like people talk about the mountain. You got to reach the top of the mountain. I just wrote a song about this, actually. I don't know if it'll be my next one or not, but it's called the never ending hill. And it's saying, I'm not visualizing.
Sisyphus?
Huh?
Like Sisyphus in hell.
I don't know that story.
No, he pushes the boulder up the hill just to have it fall back down.
Right. So this is no boulder, right?
There are those that say he enjoys the struggle of pushing it up and that it's actually not a hell for him, that he's in a perfect rut for himself.
I like that.
And he's got really big quads.
That the hill doesn't ever end. That's how I
okay. Right on.
And as you keep walking up, that boulder gets smaller and smaller, and eventually there's no boulder, and you're just walking up the hill. And as you keep on going up that hill that never ends, it becomes more fruitful and more fruitful and more. All you have to do, you don't have to run up that fucking hill. You don't have to create a fucking monster truck to climb up it. You just got to take steps. You just got to walk. You can, and if you walk slowly, the more likely your thing will come. Because you can take that next step because it's easy, because you just took an easy step.
Right. Well, if you start building scaffolding and ladders and things to get you there, it depends on the foundation of those things. Well, they might get you there quicker, but the foundation of those things may collapse and you have more momentum on your fall down.
There you go. I like that.
This is all stupid though, really. I mean, not that it is, but then I'm
for me, it's powerful parts to
I
was visualizing.
They're more like Fortnite.
Yeah, I was struggling because I was visualizing on the top of this mountain, and it seemed just impossible, right? Like, God, I'll probably die. Like, and if I get to the top, guess what? I want to go back down to the bottom of that mountain or get rescued by a helicopter as soon as fucking possible. I do not want to be up there. I don't want to be up there. So guess what? It's not a mountain anymore. It's a never-ending hill that I get to keep climbing, and I can stop whenever I want, and I can also start fucking my life up and go back down that hill if I want to. Right. But I'm just going to keep taking steps every day. And like I said, it's all about being a good human being, having good humanity, and pursuing your dreams. And that's what's going to make things work for you. You know, you got to do it.
I do. The other thing I learned from you while on the competition was that no matter what somebody tells you, they recognize that this is a competition and they are not there to help you win.
Right.
Like we had, and thanks to Jimmy for a lot of it, really. He had a bit of integrity to season 3. And that gave us the idea, and that was the whole kumbaya part that they hated, it seemed, was that we were saying things, or everybody was regurgitating the same kind of phrase. Like, I want to beat you at your best so that I can feel the best. And I, at least, I think many of us did, we felt it. However, then I started to see the way these things were going. I was like, because we had already decided, okay, Josh can get the shit. But then inside of there's still shitty tattoos, there's still tattoos that aren't going to win. And then you start to see how those get put out. For me, when Jason Clay Dunn gave me the Coliseum, and then he gave Jackie something that I would have rather done, the Stonehenge.
Right.
And I was like, fuck you, dude. You know, like I gave you the dragon when you wanted the dragon. Like I specifically did that for you.
Right.
I was like, this is your shit, right? Here you go. Now you failed at it, but that isn't, I gave you the opportunity. So don't you want to give me the same kind of, you know? And he was like, well, she makes my breakfast.
Yep.
I couldn't be mad at him anymore because he gave me that cute little Porky Pig smile that he's got.
Well, and then also you got to think about like the situation. It's not like everybody gets a list of what the tattoos are, pictures of everything, and gets to sit down and have a homie huddle.
Right.
That doesn't happen. So you have to hope that they understand what you think is the easiest, which is different for everybody. So everybody's got their own dialogue going in their brain, hoping that this one person all is repeating each person's dialogue and is going to do what each one of them think. But in fact, that person might be going through anxiety, which is what I went through on my first skull pick. And I couldn't even remember what tattoos were what. In fact, I gave myself one of the worst ones because I got confused. And I gave fucking Craig the one I wanted.
Which one did Craig
everybody
get?
gets mad at me because I didn't do what they were hoping. Jimmy got all butthurt. It's like, bro, I didn't even remember. I literally was so worried.
How could anybody be mad at what you give them after we were all giving you?
That was the beginning. That was the beginning.
Okay.
That was like when I had that first skull pick or that second skull pick or something like that, right? That's really what turned everybody, because Jimmy got so mad that I didn't give him what he wanted that he literally went around and told everybody that I was a little bitch and then I'm a piece of shit, and to fuck that guy, he's a piece of shit. He knows
I don't remember this.
And this is my time to shine. And he's a piece of shit. You know,
yeah, he was not happy that he didn't get the new skill test.
And he didn't do it. What the fuck is wrong with him? He's supposed to do what I tell him. He's supposed to envision everything for me and give me.
Right.
I couldn't even think in that moment, bro. I was so worried about doing it fast because the production company was making me feel like if I didn't hurry up, I was costing them money.
Right. So but in reality, now we see them. They take more time with their thought and make it a more thoughtful process.
Right. But they were like, good job in doing it fast. So I thought I had done good. I'm like, I got my attaboy from the production company. And then everybody's mad at me. I'm like, fuck, I guess I should have stopped and asked everybody what they wanted first instead of just handing these fuckers out. Because guess what? I already knew that it wouldn't have mattered which ones I gave to which person. It doesn't change your tattoo skills.
Right. No.
It doesn't matter. No. And there is no bad tattoo. There is no bad tattoo.
There's bad skin. That's what we found, right?
I mean, there's always bad skin. If you can't tattoo on bad skin, you shouldn't be tattooing. There's no such thing as bad skin. You can't,
but you can't win with a bad skin necessarily.
You sure can.
Have you?
I mean, didn't you watch Tattoo Baby get that Phoenix with that? I don't know if she won the fucking thing, but that was the worst skin in the whole competition, bro.
Yeah, but
yes, I got that fucking side piece where that girl had just lost 100 pounds, and I did the star on her side. That's why it took so long, even though everybody was mocking me. Right? She had the worst skin I've ever tattooed, and I won the challenge.
Yeah.
So no, getting a bad skin doesn't exist. That's a faulty thought, right? There's no such thing as bad skin. There's just
how many times have you seen a canvas with black or dark skin win? Because I feel like never.
That's probably because people don't really understand how to do tattoos that are successful on that skin, because they're trying to do the tattoos that shine, right? I feel
like if I have some sick the same tattoo on one, one where I have an easier time creating contrast, or one that looks like I did it on, something that's darker that I can't create the same contrast, then you can't win.
And I would say that's a pretty extreme situation, because I don't know how many like really, really, really dark, like unreadable canvases that they offer.
Right.
If there were maybe some people with some darker skin, but it wasn't like that. It's that dark skin that you could almost looks lighter with the right camera angle or the right lighting or whatever. Right.
Mm-hmm.
Nobody really like that dark. That was that was going to be the same fucking color. You know what I'm saying? That's the stuff that you really avoid. And those situations are opportunities. Like if somebody did something on darker skin that was obviously very thoughtful and understanding of that skin, had tons of contrast, very simple, very wide and open, and just really easy to read, and just super fits the guy's body. Somebody could have won if they would have done that, but nobody, people are so specialized.
Well, one of the things that reminds me about that is when Craig Foster tattooed the back of the leg. We were doing scars, and he did like a dog biting the back of the leg of a guy, I believe. And it was really good. And they took some time to really compliment him and to show. He was like, well, I guess you can, even though they say that, the dark skin is rougher. That I guess all the judges sat around, they pat him on the back and they said, great job. And then they gave the win to Tattoo Baby that day. So it was like, wait a second, you guys all just
because he did a good job, though, doesn't mean he did a better tattoo than her.
Right. I ain't saying, but at the same time, I don't know. I think he kind of did. Actually, who I thought did the best tattoo that day was Jackie Jennings. The way she covered up that scar with the hourglass. Wasn't it an hourglass?
Right. That was a tough. Flash challenges are tough because a lot of times they choose the winner for the better, like what's more conducive to the story. If they have 3 or 4 tattoos that are kind of all good, like they'll easily pick the one that's not the best if it's more conducive to the story.
And by conducive to the story, you mean driving drama or what?
No, there's always a flash challenge judge, right? An extra judge. And what kind of they might like better might be more impactful than what is actually done, right? Okay. Or what victim, right? There was there was the person we made the dog tags for, and there was, what I'm saying? Those stories were a big part of the people's stories, right. Individual stories. So the more impactful individual story, if you have 3 or 4 and it's like, well, these are all fine. It's obviously we didn't expect any of them to be good. These are all fine, but this person has a really interesting story. That person's more likely to win because they want to give the airtime to the really, the compelling story.
Now that also though sets up a certain amount of contrived or even conspiratorial outlook. Am I wrong?
Well, I mean, if you look at there was the car grills that we did, right? Guess who won? The people that the guy liked, because he likes flames. It wasn't the best one. It was the one because there was no way to really judge the best one because it's fucking artwork. So what they're doing is they're posing this idea that somehow an artist has to be able to do every style of art within their craft, right? And that somehow some of those can be judged as good or bad from each other because of people's ability to judge, right? But in reality,
what they like themselves,
right? Or whatever, right? Or whatever rules they can think of to kind of create these boundaries about what something should be, right? So then they pose this idea, right? It's not reality. It's just them posing these ideas so people can but the problem is people turn it into reality, right? Then they go onto your Instagram and they decide they judge your tattoos. They go, oh, that looks like shit. It's like, dude, this is the second session. I'm just showing prog. You know what I'm saying? It's like, people think that they now are judges because they think that's how they're supposed to think. But
that looks terrible. I can tell because of the car grill you did. What car did you have? What grill did you guys make?
It was the one with the filigree, like the 2 skulls facing each other.
2 skulls and filigree, which really, would you say that was more difficult to do that one than it would have been? I mean, technically, my own opinion was that one's harder to do.
It's totally
symmetrical.
Here's the issue, right? It was really easy for me to do, but that's because I just happen to have done tons and tons of shit in my life and have a weird ability to adapt. As I struggle with social things, I excel with hand and eye coordination.
Technical things
like that. Yeah, it's very easy for me.
So if I compare the winning one to that one, and I look at Joey's, which was on a hot rod, the coolest car there. Am I not wrong? That was
right.
If you looked out at those seas of cars and you had to pick one, that was the one you wanted to pick.
Right.
No one wanted the Lincoln with all the straight lines.
Right.
And certainly the flame job on that would not have worked. But when you do flames, the nice thing about them is they don't have to be consistent. They don't have to be symmetrical. All those little differences actually just make them look more like flames.
Right.
So when you do filigree, then you have something to judge against itself. Now, I'm thinking that there's a higher degree of difficulty or technical ability in the filigree, though. because of that saying. But I don't know that it was judged like that.
And then if they would have actually came and judged the process, if they would have seen how each thing was performed and how skillfully some people did it and how other people might have struggled with certain things, then they would have really been able to judge it. But that show's not about judging.
Well, the judges were right there watching the whole time.
I mean,
they weren't. I was lying. They fucking took off like they always do.
Yeah, like
were they there? I don't remember them being there. They fucking
never there unless they're on the camera. They're very very rarely there because that's
they went out for a nice lunch.
Right. This isn't it's not a show about judging. Right. The judging is used to create the show that it is, which is it's a show about conflict.
Right. That's
what they told me. Right. Because I was like, what the fuck? I thought this was a tattoo show. And they're like, no, this is not a tattoo show. This is a show about conflict. And I'm like, oh, okay. Well, that's a lot easier to understand why the fuck conflict is winning the fucking, why I'm able to.
The day.
Right.
Not the competition, but the day.
How does the starfish win, but the Bane doesn't win? You know what I'm saying? Well, because the conflict was there for the Bane not to win, and the conflict was there for the starfish to win.
I'm sorry. I took my mic off to cough for a second. So maybe, sorry, I don't know where we were at too. Is about conflict.
Well, yeah. I mean, it's just about trying to understand, like, from an actual objective perspective, what it is that Ink Masters is. That's what I'm trying to. That's where I'm.
Who told you that it was about conflict? Was it Andrea or was it one of the lower producers?
I don't remember. My brain doesn't retain.
I'm not guessing that you're wrong. I'm just wondering how much, because I was never told that, and how many other people. Like it might have been something that you were asking that set them to tell you that.
I specifically asked, what is this? I thought this was a show about tattoos because I was just like very confused by what was going on. And they were like, no, you are wrong. This is the show about conflict. And I think that maybe they were okay giving me that information just because I was the one that was already causing the conflict.
Right.
Like,
yeah.
Cool. Just keep doing what you're doing, bro.
Right.
Doing good. You got it. You got this.
Everybody's going to love you.
Like, it didn't feel very good. And then, like to have them kind of celebrate you in the moment. And then as soon as you get eliminated, the second time was worse because they actually escorted me out with security. But the first time it was like, it was fucking weird.
Because of the weed or something?
Weed thing. Mm-hmm. It had to make
you were gonna suddenly break bad and start just knocking people's heads in or something?
There was no sense of it. It was just for the show. It didn't make any sense at all. It was just to kind of
what did they take video of you walking out with security then?
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh God.
It was just for the show. It was no. It was just
fucking criminal.
It made me feel like shit. Right? Like I'm a criminal now. What the fuck is this? But the first time.
Well, welcome to my world.
Right.
It's not so bad once you settle in. It's like a hot tub. It burns at first, but then you kind of like
it. No, I didn't like it.
But now, hey, now that you're a criminal, that's the image you put on your Clutchy shit because it goes right in with the rap genre.
Dude, I don't know what image to put on the Clutchy shit. I'm fucking confused because, especially with these people I'm about to do this video with, they're like, where do you got the car? Like, do you have access to the cars? And I'm like, the cars, like, you can use my car. And they're like, no, for the video, bro. And I'm like, oh,
what's he mean? Like, you got to have swaggy cars or something, drippy cars?
It was like, how do you not know this, bro? And I was like, oh, well, I do know, like, my dad grew up in the dealership and the car industry. So I do have access to the private dealership where we can get those cars, but I didn't. So I gave them the people, and they're gonna work it all out. But
really,
I was just super confused because I'm not like I drive a fucking 2022 Kia Soul.
You're not taking it that's not going to be the rap video.
Evidently, that's not the way to do it. So I've got to figure out like my image, I guess, because it's definitely not that. But what is it then? I don't even know. You know what I'm saying? Like, how do I figure this out? Me with the chain, it's just like easy to. It's just, you know what I'm saying? Like, until I don't know, man.
Too much of that isn't you, though. It feels like it starts to be something I don't care to see. Not that, but I'm always that way with almost all rap. And if you're rapping about your spinning wheels, I don't give a fuck. I don't give a fuck about your new shoes.
About how you learn to be more humble, and now you know what I'm saying. But if the lesson is how awesome you are and how you have the pussy and money and shit, like I have
so tired of it.
That kind of have that tone, but they're about something. They're not, like I have a song that's called Mile High that I just wrote, and it's just about kind of being a slut, but it's about my dad and the way he acted when I was a kid, and the reason that my mom left him after 3 cheating, and the reason that I had a fucking evil stepdad and my life was fucked. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So it's like, it's not just about getting pussy. It's a story about my life, you know, that I can actually, you know, really understand, and I can express in a way that is actually authentic. And it comes off different, I think, too. It doesn't just sound like the normal, you know, like I'm the fucking badass song.
I can't imagine that your songs aren't going to sound different, you know, than the average. I'm honestly, I hope the rest of the world's getting fucking fed up with it too. Like, I get it that you're wearing those shoes. I can see them. I have eyes. I don't need a whole wrap and bars around it. They're not. No, you can find them. But maybe yours are better than mine, which, you know, kudos to you for putting so much passion into your shopping. However, meanwhile, there's real problems and real things that people are dealing with on a real basis.
Here's where it becomes a legitimate thing to consider doing. It's when you have set a fucking goal that has finances attached to it, right? So I want to sell 100 million albums in a month. I want to make $100,000 that month, and I'm going to set a reward for myself. If I let's just say that $100,000, I'm going to reward myself with that sick ass fucking pair of sneakers that I'm never going to wear, and I'm just going to see that as a trophy to my accomplishment. And then when I make that first million, I'm going to reward myself with that $20,000 fucking Rolex that I'm going to put in a box on my thing, and it's going to be a trophy to signify that I'm actually going up this hill and I'm successful.
It is achieving it's more about showing your goals that you have achieved,
yourself,
reminding because it will burn that fire more, right?
Burns the fire more. Yeah, you're like, fuck yeah, I got to this step. Now what's next? All right, the Rolls. Okay, well, let's see. I'll get $100 million, and then I'll buy a couple of Rolls Royces, just because that's a signifier that I'm continuing to create bounty and a future for myself. I'm hoping that if I'm buying a Rolls Royce, it's because I invested my money into some real estate or something, and it paid off so well that now I need to use that money for something like a Rolls Royce. Right? Like, that's what I'm hoping for.
Because your charity is already set up, and you done bought a bunch of houses for the lower.
Because the charity's already set up. The neighborhood is being built. You know what I'm saying? The office buildings are being built. We're starting a technology company that's creating the next wave of VR headset. You know what I'm saying? Whatever. Like, the money's actually being managed properly, and this benefit that's coming from it, not only my ability to achieve this successful moment and get this first money, but my intelligence and my willingness to take the long game and actually invest that money and only reap the rewards from the investment, because that invested money gives you a reward, but it keeps on growing, bro. You don't just waste your money and then it's gone and then you have shoes. It keeps growing and it keeps paying you that, keeps giving you that reward. You know what I'm saying?
Have you ever seen the show Westworld? I know this is way off topic from where
I don't think so. I've heard of it.
No. It's interesting. I'm a big fan of Anthony Hopkins. In this show Westworld, though, they create humans out of android. They make androids and then they make them be human. And the only way they could make them be human, they found. The number one thing they did. You did watch it?
I watched every episode. I fucking loved that show, bro.
It was season 2. It just got shit, right? Did you watch? I didn't. I just gave up. I was like, Anthony's dead. Fucking
I watched all of it. I don't remember what happened, but I watched all of it. Yeah.
It started getting into some weird, more like, hey, let's try and show them some android porn or something and make them fight all the time, give them lots of action scenes. When Anthony Hopkins was involved, it seemed like it was really about exploring what humanity was, you know? And they come to that point where he says, where he recognized that suffering was integral to the human experience. And they actually had to program their androids with true suffering so that they could then start to be humans.
Right.
But then they revolted from the suffering because it was a lot. At any rate, man.
Because that's almost like human existence, right? That's like the purpose of living almost. If you're not focused on finding your passion and following this positive thing, it very much can be about suffering and trying to escape that suffering.
Your passion is probably built off of suffering and getting away from it, or suffering that you've experienced unique to you. And usually that suffering is more unique than anything else. Nine Inch Nails has a line in one of their early songs that you can't have my suffering. Right. Isn't that what it is? And I kind of get it like that. Like, no, I don't want to share this with you. Right. And there's an amount of that in the imaginations or the worries of appropriation of culture between races and things like that. Cause it's like, no, you can't have my struggle. Like that's mine. And the reason that is because it makes me.
Yep.
My suffering is more unique me than my enjoyment, because everybody enjoys chocolate cake and ice cream, you know? Right. So like my suffering though, like, so I don't know, you made me think of that when you mentioned, why did my dad have to be a slut climbing for your Mile High song?
Right.
Why did I have to have a father that made me suffer, or no, a stepfather that then made me suffer? Right. But then we're here too. And you are now this driven person with a desire to stop suffering for you and others that are close to you that you love. And you're using the suffering that makes you unique to write songs and think on that whole, I don't know. I guess it kind of goes in a circle for me. You know, when you mentioned,
I love it.
You're with it?
Yeah, I love that. That's totally truth. I've definitely thought about that a lot recently with just trying to use certain tools to cope with things better in life. So one of them is like intense feeling. It's like, so I'll like a physical experience can kind of pull you out of whatever your body's trying to do to you, right? Or making you feel or think. So I'll wake up. I usually feel pretty shitty in the morning, just tired and overwhelmed. And so I'll get in my shower and I'll do a hot shower that's comfortable, but I always turn it to cold water for at least 10 seconds now. And at first it was just so fucking difficult. But now it's something that is just really enjoyable. But it's like the suffering is really only, it's all like we talked about last time, spitting up the apple, right? It's like there's no real good or bad. You know what I'm saying? Like it's all about how you perceive things and what you choose to desire. And I don't. So
suffering can be good. There are people who find it to be a sexual turn on even.
Well, think about this. Think about how bad comfort can be. And just all the different ways you can get comfort. And if your desire in life is to constantly seek comfort, you're going to be my dad. You're going to be cheating. You're going to die of heroin. You know what I'm saying? You're going to have this life that might be full of comfort in some ways, but it's also your suffering is going to be definitely magnified by that. And your life is going to be.
Are you familiar with much Buddhism at all?
You know, my daughter's mom is Buddhist.
Okay.
And I am familiar with how the Buddhist beliefs impact the exercise of mindfulness. And that's about it.
Well, my understanding of Buddhism is kind of rudimentary. I don't have anybody really close practicing it. One of the girls on the show that I tattooed on our season, she was a college professor. And she was like, do you mind if I send you a book? I don't want to offend you. I was like, I won't be offended. So she sent me The Art of Happiness by a psychiatrist and the Dalai Lama. And it kind of finds where psychiatry and Buddhism match up.
Right.
And the nice part about Buddhism is it evolves and it doesn't imagine it knows anything. So it is in the pursuit of better living and intelligence. But in that, the number one thing that they talk about is the goal of life is to limit suffering, and suffering basically comes from desire. Like if your desire is for comfort, then you are not going to be happy unless you're comfortable. But if you don't desire comfort, if you don't think good or bad on it, and then you're not going to be bothered by it. Not saying that that is the goal. Moreover, saying that you're unique, you figure it out.
Yeah.
You know, we can't know. I say we like I'm a Buddhist. I'm not. But I find that interesting when applied here too, with the same ideas of suffering and why did you have to go through what you had to go through. But you wouldn't be an artist, I generally find, without an amount of trauma. I don't think that we have artists. Do you think you would have been an artist if it wasn't for the traumas of your youth?
No, my art and music, because I was pretty much like one of my first thoughts that I could even remember was I'm going to be a famous musician, right? So the art was always just try to a way to get there, but that's always been directly related to the trauma.
Ooh, really?
Definitely.
The fame
especially
you desired was even the fame that you desired was related to the trauma,
right? Because it was about my dad, and it was about me seeing his potential and the things that he wanted. He'd be playing guitar all the time and just talking about music and talking about all these musicians, and you get to see how badly he wanted it, but he would never voice it. He would never voice his desire. And so then I wanted it.
No manifestation.
When I was a little kid, I would imagine myself up on stage, and then I would call my dad up on stage, and we would play together on stage, and he would get to have that experience.
Wow.
You know what I'm saying? I'm almost crying at this moment because it's
I get it. You got me having chills too, you piece of shit. Because I don't know that I didn't feel the same way with my father was physically handicapped of some sorts, I guess. I don't know how I'd say it. But he had epilepsy. So it wasn't like a physical handicap anybody would see, but every once in a while my dad would start breakdancing in front of a fucking party, and it was not comfortable, you know? Like it was like you didn't know. And people freaking out about it too would sometimes get to you because you just knew that's what dad did. You know, he's been doing it since I was born. But I always wanted to be able to, I don't know, I always wanted him to have a seizure while we were driving so I could save us from him.
Yeah.
And I wonder that that's the same. I never really cared so much for fame as a kid or thought much about it until I was in my teens. Right. And my father had already passed at that point. Right. So I wonder if that's changed a bit of my desires. I've never really cared for fame so much as I saw other people did, you know?
Right.
I was like, yeah, that'd be cool to be a rock star, but I'm not driven by it. I like studying famous people who, like yourself. I'm going to put you in that category because I know you're going there. Not that you're not already there, but I look forward to seeing this with your music. If your description of a song and how it makes you feel can give me chills, and I know you to be a competent artist, then I can't see how that can't move people too, you know? When does this song drop?
What are you talking about?
Mile High, was it?
I don't know yet. That's like, I've got probably 6 or 7 songs ahead of it. I don't know exactly. I kind of want to drop it right away just because it's really good. It's just like the whole thing is singing too, which is pretty cool. But I've got another one coming out like on the 7th or 8th. It's called Sometimes. And this one is about cancel culture. And it's about, I'm really excited. It's actually the first song that I wrote that started this whole thing. I kind of got through my therapy and I said, I kind of had a free mind and I decided to sit down and write a song with a friend of mine. And we came up with the words for this together. And then I went home that night, put it together, recorded it the next day. And I was like, oh shit, I think I finally got one.
Got one what? I mean, like you have several songs.
After, because I've been doing it for 11 years, bro. I've been doing it for 11 years. I've been putting out songs for that long under Joshua Keys. I just didn't tell anybody because I'm not going to, you know, I'm learning, I'm figuring it out. I'm developing. So I was like, finally, I got one. Like, if this is the first song that I really feel like nobody could tell me that it's a bad song. Like everybody's going to like this fucking song, unless you just don't like this kind of music. But if you, even if you like music, it's different enough to where, and I started getting that reaction. I started showing people and people were like actually going, what the fuck? This is fucking sick. So this is about cancel culture. And it's just kind of goes through the fucking things that people do sometimes. That's why it's called Sometimes. And it's like goes just all through it. I've been drinking all night. I've been feeling fight or flight. I've been fucking acting like a cunt. I've been acting like Trump. You know what I'm saying? Just all through every single thing that you could, not every single thing, but a long list of all this stuff that people label each other for and say that you're not good enough. And say that, you know what I'm saying? And it's a lot of stuff like fucking your girl. I'm fucking your girl. I'm fucking cheating on my wife. I'm doing drugs and all these things. Everybody.
These hoes ain't loyal.
Huh?
I don't know. Like these hoes ain't loyal. That always sticks out to me because the statement itself, these hoes shows no value. Right. And then to expect that they would be loyal seems like, well, that just goes against intelligence. sense, right? And then also when it is the plural of hoes, then are they possibly your hoes? Oftentimes hoes are kind of, there's a possessive part of it. So now they're plural. Did you expect that you had several of them and that they would be monogamous, whereas you obviously are not?
Well,
Like
this song specifically is meant to take the labels away and say, well, everybody's a hoe, everybody's a Karen, everybody has done, you know, like
everybody's a Kyle. I like it already.
Everybody's a Kyle sometimes. You know what I'm saying? Everybody struggles. Everybody has days that are shitty. So if we, you know what I'm saying? If we constantly talk about what other people are doing, then we continue to fucking push this really disgusting culture of judgment. But if we come out and just say the things that we've been through, that we've done, that maybe takes a little bit of power away from that cancel culture. If I'm coming right out and saying I've been addicted to drugs, I've been in, you know, I've been in situations that I don't think I'm very proud of. I'm ashamed of myself. You know what I'm saying? Like I've done fucked up things. I've said fucked up things. I've been in these situations. If you say that, that takes away the power of other people saying that about you.
Using it against you. The Eminem thing then, right? It's like, tell these motherfuckers something they don't know about me.
Exactly.
I'm an open book.
That was that. And that wasn't, you know, like every song that I write, I don't usually even really know what it's about until after I'm done writing it. And then I get to listen to it and go, okay, what does this mean to me? And usually it's some deep shit. Usually it's like, okay, I needed this. I needed this song for myself to grow as a person. I needed to express these ideas in order to feel, you know, like I'm living my life and living my true self.
And possibly in control of those same ideas. Now that you've voiced them, said them, and you framed them as they are, now you can hang them and place them as you like.
Exactly. Or leave them in the past if I want to. You know, that was why I wrote there's a song that was already out called Don't Go Away. That's about my dad. And it really helped me just kind of go through that grieving process and like letting that go. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Do you think that by your dad's absence, it also gave you a feeling of desire for fame, as you saw him wanting fame, but also you wanted his attention to some extent?
Yeah, that makes sense. That makes sense.
I wonder how his relationship with his father was in the same fashion. If he was unfortunately allowed, I see it as making mistakes. I don't know that it is. Everybody leads a different life, but I'm not going to be happy cheating on my wife, because that's not going to keep me with the woman that loves me. And it's like, I'm getting old. Someone's going to have to clean it up, man. I already know my stuff might stop working.
Right. He was really young at the point. And if you look at it through his perspective, or try to have empathy for the situation, which I have tried in my life, I've asked him.
Oh yeah. I imagine you have.
He was in a situation where he felt that cheating was the best choice. Not saying that it was, but he felt that it was. So what does that speak about the situation that he was in? It wasn't one that he was going to have a loving wife. You know what I'm saying? Like that wasn't.
I follow.
Fuck wasn't happening. Like, you know, there was some the thing that happens, and that's where people lose their compassion. The thing that happens that affects you, that somebody else might have controlled, isn't the only fucking thing that happened. Something else happened to them. Yeah. Something else is going on that you might not see or understand. And if you just look at the one thing that happened to you that they did, then yeah, be mad, be hurt. They're a piece of shit. You could judge them all day. But if you look at it in a little bit more humane way and actually see their humanity as a person and realize that everybody's doing the best that they can, even if you're fucked up, you're still in that moment. You're really like, you know what I'm saying?
Now you can give them the leeway. Yeah. And honestly,
people like that, you can have an understanding.
One of the reasons possibly to do just that, to give people that leeway to be human and make mistakes and to have flaws and still be a good human, is because when you do that, you decrease the amount of stress that you feel yourself, because now you can expect that other people will give you that same cushion, you know, that same.
You also give it to yourself. You say, hey,
and you also give it to yourself. Okay.
Yeah. I'm going to see everybody is doing the best that they can. Well, guess what? I'm fucking doing the best that I can too. Yesterday, I did the best that I could. That chick, she waited as long as she could without me showing. You know what I'm saying? We both did the best they could. Unfortunately, it didn't work out. Like she left happy. She got her money. I felt great that I didn't leave somebody feeling like hating me. You know what I'm saying? So that's the best that I could do that day. It really was. And it was the best she could do too. For whatever reason, I don't know what was going on with her. I don't know why she had to have that reaction, but she did the best she could for that moment. That's fine.
Why wouldn't you go to Germany with me, man? What's up with that? It really hurt my feelings.
I didn't like you at the time. No, I'm joking. No, you couldn't go. I was almost going to go too, because I was like, dude, if you guys just pay for the ticket for my girl, we'll go. But then they were like, no, we won't pay for her ticket. You have to go by yourself. And I'm like, when? And they're like, it's like October and September. And I'm like, dude, it's going to be fucking freezing there. I don't want to go do that. And
there was no real intention on you and I even going together from them. They gave us any dates that we could pick from in that time frame. And there it wasn't. Mm-hmm.
It was to celebrate Jägermeister, but I don't even drink.
And Jägermeister is not my preferred alcohol, for sure.
I'm not going to go to fucking Jägermeister place. Like, what is that? How do I benefit from that in any way, shape, or form? I'm going to sit on some long ass train probably and see Germany, but it's going to be like all this traveling.
Well, the itinerary was just that. Did you look over the itinerary?
I don't know. I don't remember.
So what we did, at least that they showed me, we landed at some time in the morning to afternoon, and then straight to the hotel to check in. You would check in at the hotel and unpack your things and get ready for a train ride the next morning. So you had that night in the hotel. Maybe you could see the city. Then you woke up in the morning, had to pack all your gear up, put it on a train, and go to tour the facility. Right. And then you would stay at another hotel there. And then you would go from that hotel in the morning. So you didn't even unpack your shit. You know what I mean? So then you go from that hotel in the morning to the airport and you fly home.
Yeah, that sounds stupid.
Yeah, you have to love Jägermeister.
Yeah, no thanks.
Do they even have high-end Jägermeister?
No. They have
it's like, ooh, that's that good shit, man. You got that $2,000 bottle of Jaeger, man. But yes, that and yoga. Do you still do it?
Oh man, I wish. I want to. I think about it every day.
Well, do you think then about Mark Longenecker? Okay.
I reached out to him and I was like, bro, I need to get back in it. And he was just like, you're not doing it? What are you doing? I'm like, nothing. And he just like, I think he might have just sent like a disappointed face, like an emoji, or just said something disappointed.
Yeah.
And just never said anything to me again after that. I was like, oh.
What was your experience like with Mark, your fellow contestant?
I fucking love that person.
He's pretty amazing.
I love Mark more than many humans. And he didn't need to know me, if that makes any sense. He's one of those people that didn't need to know me at all in order to offer me love, time, attention, compassion, consistency. You know what I'm saying? He would wake me up every fucking morning, bro, and he wouldn't take no as an answer.
Oh yeah, to do yoga or what?
And yeah, we didn't even know each other. We didn't even know. It was just two people there. And he just did that. He just said, hey, Josh, you're getting up and you're doing this with me.
Now, why was he not picking anybody else out, you think?
I don't know.
Or did he try and know everybody else just had a strong...
He wanted everybody to do it, yeah. And then he just realized that I was wanting to do it because I kept showing up. And then he just made sure. And then he just made sure I did it. I don't know. He was awesome. That motherfucker, he gave me a perspective of myself. He helped me value my drive and see that that's actually who I am. He gave me that 50 cent book, the
power book. 50 Laws of Power, something like that.
Yeah, that changed my whole perspective. And he wrote a whole letter inside of it and sat down and talked to me just about like the difference in our personalities, really, and helped me identify like who I am and to value that and to go, you know what, it's okay that I want and picture my life for a certain thing and a certain idea, and that it's not matching up with what many people do. That's okay. Like I can be more driven and freak people out and make people uncomfortable. I have good intentions. There's nothing wrong with what I'm doing. I'm not trying to hurt anybody. I'm not, you know what I'm saying? Like I'm just trying to make something beautiful for myself, and I'm driven to make that happen. It's going to happen. And he just helped me not be scared of that. It was really awesome. He's a beautiful person, man. I love that man. Honestly.
He is very, very interesting. Have you ever gotten to go down and work at a shop then?
No, I'm so bummed that I don't have him. And I wish he was in Portland. I would still probably try to hang out with him every single day. But yeah, I wish I don't have that. I don't have a relationship with him anymore, really.
No, yeah,
I
it
could
really,
reach out, I'm sure, and he would
yeah,
respond to me, but
yes.
other than that, I haven't maintained a relationship.
Have
with
you ever
anybody.
surfed?
I've tried a bunch of times.
Okay, I bet he would get you out there.
He'd probably make me try, but I would explain to him like this probably isn't going to go well because I don't do these kind of things very well.
I think I don't know. I struggled on it. The very first day I surfed with him, we had like 6 to 8 footers, and I just couldn't get out there. And that he's talented, man. But I was also out of wind. Like I needed to build my wind up that day. The next day I was able to get out and stuff. But even on those days, there wasn't a lot of learning. It wasn't like you do this, you do this. Right. It was just like, get out there, right? Let's go. God bless Mark Longnecker. One love. That guy's all respect and love. I've never really seen him get pissed off. You got to see it. When he got mad at the judge there that came on. Right. Somebody questioned his love of tattooing or something like that. Right. Yeah, that's
Rubendahl. Right. Yes, that's the wrong thing to question with Mark.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. You know,
I think his work gets because it's got it almost has a silly look to it. That's what I'll say. The stuff that he really loves is like what you might see on a beer that's made around Cocoa Beach. You know, once you go actually to his area,
and he's probably the one that drew the logo, honestly.
it fits right in all them surfing skulls, right?
Yeah,
like
I love it.
They're kind of silly. But once you go there and once you're like, no, it's like a locale thing, you know. Well, like if I took New Orleans art and I put it here in Flint, Michigan, it looks kind of weird.
Right.
You know,
exactly. But it's a whole vibe, man. Yeah, he's got a whole thing going there where the thing I love about him is that he is such the opposite of Ink Master, where he's very specialized, but it's not even a specialty that is popular really publicly. Like it's not like in our society, like everybody does this thing. It's his thing that he does. It's very, very unique to him as a person. And that's very true artistry, if you ask me. Like I don't care how it scales against somebody else, as long as he's getting better every day and trying to push himself and he loves what he's doing
and loving it.
That's unique. Like fucking, I would much rather see that than another fucking ultra realism guy that can just copy photos every day. You know, I envy him, honestly.
Something about that I find so unique. It happens in my career. I bet it happens in yours. The people that stick with you the most, it happens in Mark's. When I tattoo next to him at these shows, the people getting his work, and when it's his work especially, and you can see it, you know, they are exactly that. Right. You know what I mean? These completely unique individuals that don't care about your concerns of what they're getting because they didn't get it for you. Right. You know, for your, like they 100% got it for them. They're going to share it with you. And if you don't like it, fuck you. I love it.
Yeah.
But Candy says I should probably move on because I could probably talk about Mark myself with Mark if he'll ever get on here. I think he might be scheduled. I hope he is.
That dude has all my love. That's for sure.
Right on. Well, make sure you contact him again. Get in, say what up. Make sure you don't leave that connection. Because hey, you know about his music then too.
No, I don't.
No, you're not aware that Mark has been a DJ since as long as he's been tattooing, I believe.
No, I don't know that at all.
Wow. Have you ever heard of the movie The Rockers?
Nope.
A reggae movie? Okay, right on. That's completely obscure and not worth a great movie. If anybody's seen The Rockers, it's fucking awesome. If you saw one with a bunch of a Hollywood one, that ain't it. But he used that as his album cover at some point. And that's when I started to find out. Yeah, every year he puts on at least 2 to 3 events where he is the main DJ and mixing up different reggae music with like house music and stuff.
That's awesome.
So now you got another reason to reach out to him. That's what I'm saying. Because you need beats and you need more features. Have you not heard his long necker rap then?
Oh my
God.
But they're amazing.
Ask him to send you the YouTube of his long neck. He's got a giraffe that is his rapping persona.
Okay.
Because of course he's got a long neck. So
right.
All right. Well, I leave you with that, brother. Thanks for coming back on and kind of.
Yeah, sorry, I'm a little distracted at the end here. I got my
you're
tattoo. My
fine.
clients texting me. They're here. I gotta.
No, you're fine.
In that time constraint, so I got to get set up right now.
But Colucci, let me know when I can get on your podcast, and let me know more about these drops too. Where do we watch for the drops? Is it on your Instagram?
It's on my Instagram. Yeah, I'm gonna announce everything there. And there's a link. There's like the link tree that'll go to. There's a Colucci.com website now that's separate from the Portland Tattoo Company.
It makes it sound. It sounds like it should be a purse, a really fashionable purse.
I'm gonna make a Colucci purse for sure. So.
Fuck yeah, make some Colucci purses and some Colucci clutches.
It's happening for sure, definitely. Well, maybe we could get a podcast where we actually listen to one of the songs and kind of go over it. Actually, you know what I'm saying? I'd be into doing that.
Go over what the meaning is.
Yeah, just talk about it. You know, you can tell me your opinion of what you think about it. I would love to hear that.
Well, while you had that, that's a start point for your own podcast, is to have people on to listen to your own music.
What am I going to name my podcast? I've been struggling with that.
Oh, really?
You got to help me.
How about my fans can help you?
Yeah, that's great.
And that's what I believe these podcasts are about. That's why I try and talk to my viewers. Hey, viewers, how you doing? That's why I call them viewers. That's foolish, listeners. But that's why I try and talk to my listeners. I'd want to engage with them on the comments and stuff. I hope nobody's too mad about me talking about the self-diagnosis and why I think, hey, calm down.
Hey, you know, that was my first reaction. I actually lost a friend over it because I was just like, hey, I think I might be have finally figured out what the fuck's going on with me. And he was just like, you can't self-diagnose. That's absolutely the wrong thing. You're kidding me. People are set. And he was just like so upset about it that he stopped talking to me. And we were neighbors. Like we were living in the same building, bro. Every day.
This is a huge problem, especially with autism in America. Am I wrong? Misdiagnoses are huge.
Yes. Misdiagnoses are huge. I don't know about with the autism. I think not diagnosing it is a huge problem.
Well, my brother was letting me, like, he's all into these facts now. You know, he's got his head out of meth, and I'm amazed. I love the man. He's gone far with it, and he's really helping people.
That's awesome.
And that's it. We were talking about you, about the self-diagnoses, and he's like, dude, you have no fucking idea. Like the numbers of people that he deals with that are undiagnosed. And people write them off so quickly because they've already become addicts. Mm-hmm. So now they're a non-diagnosed addict that found drugs because of the problems, the traumas, and all these things in their lives. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, if you think about what happens to, if you look at statistically, most autistic people suffer severe depression, suffer drug and alcohol abuse as an adult, and a very high percentage die early of suicide.
These are the people that he was making me aware of yesterday when he was saying a bigger problem than self-diagnosing and being wrong in America is not getting diagnosed at all and having things go wrong and because support structures are not there for you.
You don't know how to ask for it. You don't know that you're okay.
No. And a lot of times your family will turn away from getting you diagnosed
because they're afraid.
There's not a lot. Well, yeah, and they're just like, you got to stop doing that. You're acting weird. You're not talking to your grandmother. You're not looking people in the eye.
Well, for me, now the stigma grows. Bro. For me, it was like beating the fuck out of me. That's why I'm somewhat able to be who I am. Physically, my stepdad would fucking beat the shit out of me every day starting at 4 years old because of my autism. And so then I had to learn when you're autistic, you do something called masking, which is just like thinking behavior that makes it seem like you are able to think through things and react through things normally. But in fact, it's just behavior that you've learned. But I learned that shit at 4 years old because I was beaten into learning it. Act correctly now, act normal now. And I had to. So I didn't even know. I didn't even have the thought that could be used to identify that I might have autism until I was way into my adulthood doing all this mental health stuff.
Was your stepfather beating you Was he scared the way it made him look or something?
Well, I
Or-
mean, you can assume those things as an adult.
I'm just trying to figure out why you would be like at 4 years old with any kind of
Because that's how he
physical
was treated,
pain
that's how he thought.
for social actions or whatever seems wrong. You know,
Right. God damn it. Okay, my
that's how
cousin-
he was taught.
I
I gotta let you.
I don't want to. I don't want to.
Obviously, we got to do this again.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, man. We'll talk.
Thanks for talking to me, brother. I love
We'll
it.
schedule another one. We'll do part 3.
I'm looking forward to it, Clucci. Have a good
All right.
one, brother.
All right. Thanks a lot. Bye.
Thank you.